Get me off the ledge here. What is probable cause if what they had wasn't probable cause back a year ago?
Actually, it's disturbing because probable cause is a low standard. It's just used to make an arrest that you've got some evidence that shows that this person is a threat, and it looks like they did. I mean, you have someone who apparently posted some images and it was tied to this young man. I guess he was 13 years old at the time. Now he's 14. And they went and interviewed the father, and the father said, no, he's got no access to these guns. But I would submit that if you've made threats and those are the guns in the pictures, that some action should be taken. Notably, Georgia has some of the weakest gun laws in the country. So for other states, like in Florida, you could file for a risk protection order, otherwise known as a red flag law. That would allow law enforcement to be able to confiscate the weapons in the house temporarily if you can show to a judge that someone poses a significant risk to himself or others. Well, that would have been another option here. Instead of making an arrest, take away the guns. But Georgia doesn't have that law, and they didn't make an arrest, and so here we are.
I just don't get it because, you know, I haven't met many criminals who, when you interview them at first, say, yes, I did it. They usually say, wasn't me. And for this kid to apparently, according to the reports, to have said to these sheriff's deputies, I didn't do it, and that was enough. I'm just completely dumbfounded by that. They had the online evidence. They had the pictures. They had guns in the home. They had the dad. Let's talk about the dad, Dave Aronberg. Let's talk about the dad for a hot minute. Because in Ethan Crumbley's case, his parents are both serving time for not having done enough to stop their troubled boy from doing what he did in his school shooting. They both got charged. They're both serving time. Do you see a potential here? And I get it. We don't have a lot of details yet. But what we have with this dad who tells these, you know, responding law enforcement officers, nothing to see here. He has no unsupervised access to weapons.
Based on what we know now, Ashley, there would not be a charge against the father. The state of Georgia does not have a law on the books that requires a parent to lock up a gun and keep it away from a child. So because you don't have that law, then it's extremely unlikely he'll be charged with anything else like involuntary manslaughter. You know, the Crumbley parents, they enabled their kid by buying their kid a gun. And then when they were warned repeatedly that he was a ticking time bomb, they laughed it off. And then when the kid was at school drawing horrific pictures, they refused to take him home or even check his backpack. So that was an unusual case. It doesn't really have a lot of precedential value because it was so egregious. Here, based on what we know now, you've got a father who said, no, he has no access to the guns. These are hunting guns. And that really means that he probably won't be charged unless he bought him the guns. He knew he had the guns. He was so negligent that he really enabled this to happen. But we don't know any of that at present time.
We don't. And I'll tell you what, we don't know. I heard the interviews being done live on the scene today where they asked, what about the weapon? What kind of weapon? And, you know, I kind of am conditioned to hear it's an AR-15, but the officers who were, you know, giving out the public information said, we're not going to disseminate that information yet. And I just wonder if there is a match, Dave, if there is a match, and these are the dad's guns, and he told those officers a year ago he doesn't have any access to those guns, does that change the metric? Is the dad exposed?
Not in Georgia because there's no law that requires them to be locked up. Now, if he handed the kid a gun, if he left it sitting in his room, in the child's room, and made it so easy for him to get it, yeah, then we could talk about involuntary manslaughter. But in the absence of those facts, no, the fact that the kid somehow found the gun and took it and then used it at school is not enough in the state of Georgia to charge the parent with a crime. But the investigation continues, and maybe we'll find out more evidence that this is another case of bad parenting, because the Crumbley case in Michigan stands alone. It's unique, and we don't see that here yet.
I think I want to clarify here with my producer. I just think I just heard that it was in fact an AR-15 style weapon that was used. Again, I don't know if the weapons that the father said he called them hunting weapons, but loads of people use AR-15s to hunt wild boars, etc., and pigs, etc. So I don't know if there'll be a match on those weapons, but I'll be keenly interested to find out, you know, where the case goes from here. I just want one more question, and that's how I started the show, Dave. 14 years old, tried as an adult. quadruple murder so far, right? That's the allegation. That is, in my books, that's life, no parole. That's toe tag parole.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.